We had a little bit of a strange day today because the county auditor stopped by unannounced, which was funny because I hadn't even requested a inspection, my first inspection yet. When I filled out the permit paperwork, they told me at the permit office that they didn't even notify the auditor's office. So I thought that was funny. Um, but I told him that we weren't finished with the basement. So um, he was very easygoing. He said, that's fine, we'll come back next year. Today, we're going to introduce a new segment. And before I tell you what the name of the segment is, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I got here to this, naming this. When I was young, I had a childhood much like millions of other people. My biological father was an alcoholic, and my mom and dad got divorced when I was like 4 or 5. Oh, there was some abuse in there. I was bullied as a kid. I was scrawny. I had 3 mean brothers. I told you already, they were scoundrels. Um, and I just didn't really have a real great desire for learning. As we moved around quite a few times. I didn't really have a great attention span for school. In fact, I don't remember doing much homework at all. I don't know how I passed high school. But they say your brain isn't fully developed until you're in your 20s, mid to late 20s. And that's really when I started trying to snap out of it. And I went through all kinds of learning about different self-help techniques. So I was baptized when I was 16, so maybe that was the beginning of it. But I read about God's chosen fast, about fasting. I read The Gift and The Secret, um, about Aboriginal uh, journeys. I read about neurolinguistic programming, um, self-affirmation, all kinds of different ways of improving oneself. And a lot of the things that you learn in that process is a reoccurring thing, is that if you want to change something about yourself, you have to replace one bad habit with a good habit. You just can't eliminate something, or it's much harder to just eliminate something without replacing it with something else. It creates a void. So if you have a bad eating habit, you try and replace that with a better eating habit. If you have a bad, exercise, if you're kind of like lazy, you try and replace that with a good habit of exercising. You just come home, you get on the couch. Instead of that, you come home and maybe you walk or do Tai Chi or something. Um, so it's always a process of replacing the bad with the good. Um, he, uh, the idea, though, is that you have to plan ahead. So you can't just come home from work and expect there to be celery and yogurt dip in the fridge if you haven't purchased that already. You have to have done that. So you have to have set these things up. And so one of the things in my life when I was younger, and my mother would always say, uh, cussing is a form of bad vocabulary. It shows no education. So when I wanted to start eliminating using bad language, which I didn't think my mother would like, or that I didn't think Jesus would like, I wanted to start replacing it. And one of the ways I wanted to do that was come up with something else, but I wanted to be kind of lighthearted or humorous because I think I'm a funny person. And I didn't want to look stupid when I was saying it, so I wanted to kind of exaggerate these things when I said them. So I tried to come up with something a little old-fashioned. Uh, and, as I said, exaggerate it and make it kind of funny instead of just looking kind of, dorky. Um, and it's gotten to the point where I don't even have to think about it now. It just comes out on its own. And even like my little niece, my 8-year-old niece now will be saying it the same exaggerated way that I say it, and then she laughs or her mom's laugh. And sometimes they'll send me a little video of her doing that. And of course, I get a big kick out of it. So, long story short, the other day when I was at Menards, I was buying these bins to store my fabric in. I needed a new kind of bin so I could keep all of the Tilda fabric together where I could find it. And then I started labeling them all with what kind of fabric was in there so that I could easily see what was in there and keep everything organized. And since I do educational videos, it made more sense if I could remember the name of the collections and stuff. It just seemed like that made good sense. But while I was shopping in that area, they have all the closet organizing and the storage bins and the hangers and everything. They have a woman that's working, well, was a woman in my store, like at a little end cap desk. And I guess maybe they have some kind of a service they provide, maybe storage organizing or something. And I had just walked around her, and then on the other side of the aisle, right behind her, was this whole collection of items that were hung up on the wall. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh my word. And I could just see her jump because I said it so loud. But that's what I do now when I see something, or, I say it in that exaggerated way. This is what I saw. Sometimes you get excited over the weirdest little thing, but I love to have a lint roller. Now, I don't use them on myself because I don't wear a suit or a sweater anymore, but I love to have my ironing board clean, especially before the video starts, or my design wall if I'm going to be doing a video, or even if I'm starting a new quilt. But sometimes even when you have loading a quilt on the frame and there's black lint on your white batting, or there's thread on there, a lint roller is great to have on hand to help get those threads or dust bunnies off. When I saw this thing hanging there, I thought I was in a little bit of heaven. I've never seen a lint roller this big and this substantial in my life. This one's by Scotch-Brite. And as I said, I was at Menards. And at first I wasn't even sure if I was seeing a lint roller, because it has cereal on it, pictures of like Fruit Loops or something. Couldn't understand what the connection was. I guess it's saying it so strong it could pick up Fruit Loops. I couldn't wait to get this in my cart. I got one of these and I think 2 of the refills, but I think when I go back to the store, I'm going to have to get 1 or 2 more of these because I'm afraid that something might happen to the one that I do already have. I was just so excited about this lint roller. I don't think I've ever seen anything that made me so happy, not at least in like for my studio in a couple years. This made me a lot happier than the storage containers, I can tell you. I I I don't know. There's just certain things that don't get changed very often, and a lint roller I think is one of them. And when somebody really takes a look at it and makes a big improvement in the way that it functions, and really appreciates that somebody needs one and wants a good one, and they take the time to improve it and make it right, I just have to admire that. So my my new segment's called "Oh My Word," and the purpose of the segment is going to be when I find something like a lint roller for the studio that I think other people might appreciate for their space as well. um, that I'm going to bring it to your attention. So that's my segment for today. My oh my word item is my lint roller, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have found it. I'm going to be making another video very, very shortly because um, we are at the stage at the house where we are staging furniture. That's kind of what we've been doing. I've been doing a lot of painting too, but uh, the next thing that, well, I'll get into that on the next video. Um, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for stopping by today. I don't know if you have a Menards. If you do, wear earplugs because they have that horrible jingle that they play in the store, and it turns into an earworm once you leave. You'll be singing that jingle the rest of the day. But if you don't have a Menards near you, maybe just look up Scotch Brite Extreme Clean Lint Roller and see if you can find one too. Thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, keep piecing it together.